Remember last time, so good.
20 minutes in and out. Good job.
Okay, good morning, Harris Academy. My name is Mr. Doherty and I'm joined by my co-presenter,
Mr. Wickenberg.
and we are here for our weekly ramble of jogging around the world. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Oh, the cover list is up.
What's the cover list saying? You're not on it?
Could have been on Mastery and PS3, but not neither.
Oh, he's dodged a bullet there. Guys, we get a morning...
Triple cover in the cafe though.
Who pictures?
Yeah.
So just to give you some context to our fans worldwide, every morning around this time we get our cover list sent out.
You know, this is just making pretty good time is.
Yeah, we are allocated cover slots, and sometimes you get struck with one, don't you?
Yeah.
Other times you might dodge a bullet.
Me and Miss Dotty off period 3 together.
On a Friday.
Friday, get it.
Right, lovely. Well, what are you drinking? But I'll tell you what
yeah,
you're
go on,
drinking.
please.
We are on, is it Azira?
Yeah, Zero.
Azira, finely ground.
Yeah,
I've given you 2 heaps.
It's like what HACH does to me.
Finely ground down. Finely ground. I've given you 2 heaps of sugar,
Oh, get in.
and you're on oat milk today. Oatly, barista
Alright.
edition.
Remember we got our one in the fridge as well.
That is the other
Is
one.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So
Drop for team only one.
yeah. We've had to start writing on our milk as well. Team Geo, because
Yeah.
someone out there is tucking into the oat milk. So
Yeah, how are you, sir? You good?
yeah, I'm all right. You know, I'm happy it's Friday. I've had a pretty healthy week.
Yeah, you have actually.
Yeah, been pretty good. Been doing quite well. The diet's going all right actually. Yeah, I'm trying to lose this belly. But I was swimming in the outdoor pool in my gym yesterday. I'm not going to name the gym because people start trying to find me right now, so it's exclusive. But the outdoor pool, there's me thinking it was going to be heated. It wasn't.
Freezing cold.
It was pretty cold. My back was icy. I managed 15 minutes. But here's something interesting, right? Which I haven't actually looked up, but maybe you'll know because you're good at some stuff. Swimming in the cold water was hard work, right? I had to properly give it some beans, right?
Yeah, go on.
And then I got up out that pool, went inside and got in the heated pool inside, and I felt completely lighter. It was like going from, the only way I could describe it was playing snooker to playing pool.
Yeah, like bigger.
It was just far, I just got into the warmer pool and it felt far easier to swim.
Because of the like particles of the water and stuff like that.
Being
maybe.
heavier because it's colder.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's cool.
Right, anyway,
Cool.
any other?
We'll do shout outs.
Yeah. Also, I haven't got a jacket on
No,
today.
neither have I, but I'm quite jacketless all the time. And
Yeah, I normally have a jacket on.
Else
But if I am a crease shirt, do you know what? This is the reality of teaching.
yeah.
This is the reality.
I've got Miss Dotty's tie on today. Just stayed at my girlfriend's last night and left all my ties there.
We're real, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no pretenses.
What I will say before we do shout outs, whoever is in charge of road markings, government, local council, national highways, when it rains,
You can't do it.
can't see it. I was on the M25, treacherous this morning.
It's like the other day, I told you I almost died twice.
Yeah. And also, whoever's in charge of the A13, sort it out. Because that road, somehow, it's pretty straight most of the time. People, I know I'm not one to talk, but people keep getting accidents on it.
Yeah, but there's an element of just like, why can't we all just relax a little bit?
Exactly.
We've all got to get to where we need to go.
Yeah,
Everyone's
everyone's
got to
drive
get
like
there.
Mr. Dotty like that.
Yeah.
Like steering wheel. Anyway.
Can you slow down, please? Right,
Speed limit, not target.
I love that one. Right, shout outs. Who shout out?
Year 11s with the exams. Smashed it.
The last, is it their last day?
No,
It's the last
further maths
whole
mob-
cohort.
further maths mob I have to do on Tuesday. But
That's their fault for being clever, isn't it?
yeah. Positive, pretty positive. I thought the paper 1, paper 2 especially, I thought that was hard.
Yeah, there were some horrible questions in paper 2.
Yeah. There was one that almost felt like we was teaching from a different spec. That dynamic development one. But anyway, it's gone now. And then
Might give us a little bit of food for
yeah,
thought
exactly.
for
They
the
normally
summer.
do. And then obviously we get to mark them, which I can't wait for. Love it.
Oh, yeah, buzzing. Yeah, can't wait for that. No, I can't wait. I want to see how they've got on.
Yeah.
Yeah, any other shout outs?
Um,
do you know, Noah, Miss Abdi.
Oh yeah, wicked yesterday. That's good.
We have, so as you know, we do our staff training on a Thursday, and we had it on AI. Now standing up in front of everybody is terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, as teachers, we sort of, like Mr. Johnson put it, we sort of perform 4 times a day, 3 times a day, whatever, 2 times a day. So, but we perform to these kids, classes of 32, 35, Miss Patel will have 50 in the CAF, no bother. But standing up in front of staff and presenting the sort of your ideas, and it's a difficult thing to do.
It is a difficult thing. I will caveat that with Miss Patel doesn't have to have 50 people in the cafe. She just loves it. That's not the state of education in this place. That's because she just loves it. But I mean that in a good way. She can handle it.
Oh, silence.
I wouldn't be able to. I'll be serving them food.
Queuing at the wall. Feel like I forget to fill up my water bottle. Alright, anyway, any more shout outs before we move on?
I want to shout out Kira in 9p. When I say hitter, bang, she's a hitter.
94%. So she dropped her 2 marks on.
Well, that's 96% then. So I said she's either 96 or she's 98%. It's one of the two.
I think it was 96%.
Yeah.
She dropped the 2 marks on the climate question over there to drop the map.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she got those 2 wrong. 2 of them wrong, and she was like, that would have been 100%.
Yeah, I told her she got a really, really good score the day before. Because I said,
When I gave it to her, I went,
yeah. So she already had this linked in her head, but I told 9p that someone had done really well in the class, and then held her back. I was like, Kira, can I talk to you, please? And then, so everyone get out, and I said, it was you that did really well, so well done.
yeah, did really, really well.
What you may have noticed is Alexandra got my geographer's badge.
You gave it to her? Why don't we get proper ones, mate?
It cost me money, that's why.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. They come from the GA. GA, if you want to sponsor our podcast, that'd be great. Well, no.
Oh yeah, I gave one to Kira as well. But why don't we get one of these school ones made that they have? Like, why every other department's got one except us? Where did you get these from? Miss Karen didn't speak to.
Yeah,
Do you want me to do it? Leave it with me.
Okay. But no, I don't want those like little moody
Metal
sports
ones.
captain ones.
Why not?
I prefer our ones.
Yeah, but they've got cool geography ones now.
Have they?
Yeah, Mr. Max will let us buy a wiki geography one. Alexandra and Kira, bang, there you go. Who else gets? Oh, we'll discuss that privately.
Okay.
Right.
But yeah, Kira did really well on the geography assessment.
Okay.
Very well done. Okay, now we are going to talk about today. I finished disease at the year 13 yesterday, right? And I put up a list of topics that I was put all the list of topics that they'd finished, and I was like, rank them from your most confident to your least confident. Right? What do you reckon came out on top?
Migration.
No, migration was one of the lowest, would you believe? Space and place was top.
Really?
Yeah.
For the year 13?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
right.
space and place was top, so we can thank Mr. Rouse for that. And then, and at the bottom,
Power and borders.
Always power and borders. Power and borders is this topic that is part of the global connections part of the spec, I'm pretty sure. So it is a section of the A-level specification for human geography, which is one that they don't gel with. But it's not abstract, but it seems like you're going to be talking about like wars and how, like, it seems like you're going to be talking about like World War I, World War II, and all those sorts of things. And it's not really,
No.
right? So this is a podcast to help out with the year 13s and the year 12s.
Yeah.
Because today what we're going to be talking about, I feel like we've done something similar to this already, so I'll check, is sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Yeah.
Right, and in basically global governance is what we're going to be talking about today, right? So I think if you understand global governance, then a lot of the things that's going on in the world you can sort of make sense of.
And that's what we want them to link into.
Yeah.
We want them to be able to talk about current affairs and what's going on in
But
the
then
world.
like understand it.
Yeah.
So we was having this almost nearly heated discussion about Donald Trump, because some of them were like, what he's doing is nuts, it's wrong. And I was thinking, and I said, one thing you can't argue with is that he gets things done, whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
He's breaking the status quo, but he's like, and I think that's what freaks people out, is that breaking of the status quo to going to Venezuela and just kidnap the president. That's stuff that happened 50 years ago. It doesn't happen today. So I'm not saying give credit to him or anything like that, but a strong understanding of global governance and also a strong understanding of sovereignty and territorial integrity really sort of helps out your understanding of it, right? So, how would you define sovereignty, sir?
sovereignty, because the word sovereignty comes up constantly,
Mhm.
doesn't it? And I'd say sovereignty can be defined as having total control over your country.
Yes.
So we've got sovereignty in the UK,
Yes.
but at the minute, it's a little bit frayed.
Yeah. So sovereignty is all about if the government says something, do people follow along?
Yeah, but generally they sort of do.
Yeah. Sovereignty is a hard thing to break. So a lot of countries will say they're a sovereign state, and the idea there is they are a country.
Yeah, so like,
Or they are a
so
state.
like, so an example maybe, so like COVID, generally people did what they were told. All right, not everyone did.
Yeah, our sovereignty wasn't broken because of COVID.
No, generally speaking,
Yeah.
most people did. Right, fine, there was a few who didn't, but that's always going to be the case. But generally speaking, the photos that you've got of lockdown in London where it's empty, it's like, all right, so the government said you can't go out, people
Yeah.
can go out.
So, can you give me an example? Not like a real world example, but what sort of examples would there be if sovereignty is broken?
Well, it'd be like overthrowing a government. Military
That's
coups
it,
are a
yeah.
big one.
Yeah.
I suppose at the minute, so a real world example, you're close to having issues with sovereignty in America at the minute.
Yeah.
America's hard because it's so big, isn't
Yeah.
it? But like, I suppose an example where our sovereignty was having problems was when the protests were happening in London not too long ago.
Yeah, I think protest would be an example.
Protesting
of sovereignty is impacted. Also, terrorism. Any sort of
is a big
terrorist
one.
attack is your sovereignty is threatened because you've got people who are not going along with a government.
Yeah.
Also, when sovereignty can be really impacted, or people's perception of sovereignty can be really impacted by international organisations, right? So, international organisations like the EU can come up with rules. So when we was part of the EU, we abided by a lot of the EU laws, right? And then people in the UK believed that threatened our sovereignty, or the EU threatened our sovereignty because it wasn't our government that was in power; it was the EU government, right?
European government, yeah.
So sovereignty can be broken internally by things like maybe civil war, uprisings. So some of the stuff we're seeing in Iran at the moment, I'd say their sovereignty is definitely threatened.
100%.
Then you've got things like terrorism, that is on a more of a smaller scale, which you're dealing with a select few people there. But I think the main way at the moment, because we're living in a relative time of peace, and I mean peace in the terms of no world wars, I think that sovereignty is mainly only broken like bureaucratically. It's broken because of international organisations like the EU, like the World Health Organization, and you can see when. So Donald Trump is a person who I think is really trying to hammer the idea of sovereignty because he's trying to pull out of all these organisations.
Yeah, so like pulling out of COP, the climate stuff. The whole Greenland thing is him heading towards pulling out of NATO.
And also, if you've seen he's made that Board of Peace thing, right? So he's made his Board of Peace thing that he's got. Vladimir Putin's quite clever actually. He said, so Vladimir Putin's on the Board of Peace that Donald Trump has set up, and he says we're going to contribute $1 billion of those assets in frozen. So our money that's frozen in your bank accounts, you can use $1 billion of that, and then we'll join. I think sovereignty is a really interesting thing. Sovereignty is a word that's thrown around, and we'll get into why sovereignty, the idea of sovereignty can sort of be thrown around. But there's this other term that lingers around in Power and Borders, which is territorial integrity, right? Now, they don't give us easy words to spell in A-level geography, so that's why it's always S and TI from me on the board. I'm not mucking around spelling those out letter for letter. But so territorial integrity is all about the rights to your borders and your land, right? So with territorial integrity is in the UN article, is in the UN Charter. It's like Article 5 or something like that, right? Where it says in there, you have the right to your land, nobody else has the rights to your land, right? So territorial integrity is broken when you are invaded.
Yep.
Right?
Lose control of your borders.
Yes. Donald Trump going into Venezuela, the Venezuelans claimed that broke their territorial integrity, so they then go into the UN and said, look, we've got a serious problem here. Yeah. Donald Trump will say other things, because he was sort of in and then out. the main way territorial integrity is broken is when you are invaded. So Ukraine's territorial integrity was broken by Russia,
Massively.
right? So that's where you've then got the ideas where you can then go in and you can sanction, you can do all these things because it's broken a UN protocol, right? Now, when sovereignty is broken, it doesn't mean territorial integrity is broken.
No,
But
sorry, go on.
But when territorial integrity is broken, sovereignty is lost as well.
Yeah, because if you're having mass protests in the UK, huge protests, anti-government protests, whatever they're for, that doesn't mean our borders are broken.
No.
Whereas, yeah, if your border you get invaded, your government have essentially.
I think our governments would say, I wonder if their argument would be the migrants coming over on the boat, whether that's threatening our territorial integrity or not.
Potentially, but like I suppose they're bolstering it, trying to do everything you can.
Yeah.
Probably that would be the argument for people uprising, wouldn't it? Is that our territorial integrity is being
So
broken.
maybe illegal immigration maybe causes more threats to sovereignty rather than territorial integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think as well, it's one of them ones where maybe that's a slight grey area as well in the fact that humanitarian law requires you to accept migrants.
So that's why the
asylum
UK, people in
seekers.
the UK, and especially now Reform, want to remove ourselves from the ECHR, which is the European Commission on Human Rights, which I don't think is a good look if you're pulling out of anything that has the word human rights in it. But the idea is, because we are part of the ECHR, we have to accept these migrants, and also to be part of a UN state.
Yeah.
You need to also accept asylum seekers.
Do us any favours that.
No.
Also on the topic of like territorial integrity, then is that where we start going down the realms of not having your own land?
Yeah. So something like Kurdistan
Kurdistan's always a really good example.
doesn't have sovereignty or territorial integrity.
They are
They're a nation, aren't they?
they're what you call a nation state. This is where it starts getting a little
A
bit
nation
like,
state is different to a nation.
Yeah.
So a country like France, everyone in France feels French and they're in France.
Yeah.
Well, I say that apart from people maybe the Algerians and the people like the African migrants that have gone in there. But the UK, every country will claim they're a nation state.
Yeah.
But the UK is not a nation state.
Because we've got
Because if you ask a Scottish person if you ask me what I am, I'd say I'm British.
Yeah.
Ask a Scot what they are, they're going to say Scottish.
Yeah.
Ask someone from Wales what they are,
They're Welsh.
right?
Yeah.
So the UK could never really be a nation state because we're a union of those four countries.
Yeah.
But someone like Japan, people in Japan feel Japanese.
Yeah.
So they belong to that nation state. So a nation's an idea. People who claim to be Kurds will say the area they live in is Kurdistan, but there's no international recognition of that.
And it's not on any maps.
It's not on any map. So they will not have sovereignty and they will not have territorial integrity.
No, it's a bit like the Basque country up in Spain, similar sort of
Catalans and all that stuff.
Catalan. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. It's
It is interesting. I think what I wanted to do was just sort of put this now onto Greenland.
Yeah.
Because Greenland's an interesting one.
Let's do that now because we've got 804.
804. Does Greenland have sovereignty?
Well,
So this is why I've got co-pilot open.
hold on, before you co-pilot it though, so Greenland has sovereignty because it's owned by Denmark, who have control of their borders, correct?
Yeah, because Greenland is Denmark is a protectorate.
Yeah, so Greenland is owned by Denmark, and I watched the programme, they patrol Greenland, they have military personnel who patrol and snowboard.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind there's only 2 of them who were doing it, imagine that for your job, just you and your mate in Greenland on your own. Imagine a view of the stars at night time. But yeah, so I would say they have sovereignty and they have territorial integrity.
It says Greenland does not have full authority as an independent state. It is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark.
Right.
So is it like a Falkland sort of vibe then?
Okay, what does it say?
It says Greenland has its own parliament and government managing domestic affairs. Denmark still controls foreign affairs, defence, monetary policy and constitutional matters. So I reckon, yeah.
Mr. Petch is trying to put you off there.
Is he? Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so then there can't be territorial integrity there, because that must be territorial integrity for Denmark.
So that's why, yeah. So why did it say it has no? He was putting me off there.
In Greenland. So I think Greenland, territorial Greenland cannot be transferred to another state without the agreement of both Denmark and Greenland. So there's a couple of ways Donald Trump can get Greenland. He can buy it or he can send troops in. If he sends troops in, he's breaking the territorial integrity of both Greenland and Denmark, and it's breaking the sovereignty of Denmark. Because they claim because they're the protectorate.
Wow, right.
So that's when we're talking.
So did you say territorial integrity of both?
Yes.
Because Denmark claim ownership over it. So it's technically their border, but it's also Greenland because they do have, and then the sovereignty of Denmark because they're
I think also that's like understanding that. Fair enough, you have to use AI a little bit there, but that's a skill to understand that, to be able to. So that if I was asking the 13 that question, they could relay that back to me. I'd be like, yeah, she smashed it. Got it.
Yeah.
I think also the other thing that can break sovereignty sometimes is intervention. So we were talking about disease yesterday, and we were saying what are the drawbacks of, what are the limitations of the global eradication of disease. So like smallpox was eradicated, and Nick, and credit to Nick here, he said the issue with the global eradication of disease is that it could threaten sovereignty. I was like, explain yourself. And he said, because if it's these international organisations that have to go in and take charge of the eradication, then the governments in charge potentially then have lost a bit of control.
Yeah.
So they don't have full control of their
You
population.
couldn't do this properly, so we're going to have to come in and do it for you. So intervention. Okay, yeah, he's a big hit today.
Big hitter. Yeah,
that's
it's good.
really interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I hope
really
you gave him
interesting.
merit for that.
I did actually, yeah. Right. I think just if we were just shooting the breeze there, I think that was quite good.
I think it was right. You can see that me and you were a bit like,
it took a lot of brain power, that one.
It's tough, like it's a really tough topic, but it's interesting and it's so current. I was saying to the year 12s, like, Power and Borders is happening constantly around us and understanding it. Like, look at what's going on in Sudan at the minute. You're like, well, it's pretty frightening. But
we just need to, that topic we need, if we can talk
we've
about
got more time.
Yeah, when we can just we can have a really good go of refreshing that.
Right,
Make sure we understand it. Right, the news.
Quickly, news, because we are struggling for time. And we've got stuff to do,
what I did see was, but first of all, a couple of storms over the last week.
Yeah.
The case of the Jurassic Coast got an absolute hammering. The train tracks nearly fell into the water because of the thing. That was Storm Ingrid.
Landslide in Sicily was brutal, wasn't it?
That was madness. And then also the UK yesterday, talking about Power and Borders and sovereignty, made a deal with China.
Yeah.
So we can travel to China for a year visa free.
Yeah, Mr. Trump's not happy.
Not happy
He
at
said
all.
it's a dangerous game.
Says Donald Trump says dangerous for UK, but also if you start burning bridges, bro. We're gonna go. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
On that note, I think we will.
Weather quickly.
What a quote.
So I saw yesterday.
Yeah.
When I've been at home, some place in the UK have had 200% of their average January rainfall. The flooding in the UK is pretty.
Dublin underwater.
Yeah. We're here in the southeast. We're not getting the hammerings, but we're getting the drops afterwards, right? So we're getting the aftershocks.
Well, how wet has it been?
Oh, it's just not been
never,
dry.
It never rains here ever. And now, and I'm saying to the kids, I'm like, we received the least amount of rainfall, and they're all like, oh yeah,
bro,
is that why you put rain on?
Yeah. Good, isn't it?
Really good.
And then so rain.
Right, what's the weekend?
Saturday looks alright.
Saturday, I'm going to the library Saturday.
And then Sunday, Mizog. I'm going to go see White Lies.
Oh yeah, they're touring. They're in Manchester, I think.
Yeah, I'm seeing them at the Roundhouse with my dad and my uncle.
On Sunday?
Saturday.
Oh, what? That's a big one.
That'd be a good one.
You staying at Amy's after, or you going back?
No, going back home and then going to Amy's on Sunday.
Nice. Yeah, I'm out on the course Sunday. What's the weather saying? I'm tee off at 11:30. We toast.
Precipitation. What time?
11:30.
No, 20% chance. You might be alright.
That'll be all right. Good job. We've got new waterproof trabs.
Yeah.
Very quickly, we've got any stats.
Have I learnt any good facts recently? Other than 20%. Oh, don't know if you've seen it. It's not really a fact. It's more of a watch this. There's a really famous guy who I think they're called Jungle Keepers, right? It's an organisation that this one guy has in the Amazon where he gets loads of donations and then buys parts of the Amazon, so the loggers can't build roads on it.
All right.
Right, and he was just doing his thing, right, and they not bumped into, but all of a sudden this uncontacted tribe started approaching them, and there's a video online, right, so if I quickly find it, uncontacted tribe, in the Amazon, there's a video, and the video is there, but the guy is called, what's his name? Paul Rossley, right? So he's like an expert in the Amazon. What's interesting as well, didn't get any like qualifications to do what he's doing. He just sort of went there and got into it. But he had this. He was with a bunch of people, with an anthropologist as well, and they're face to face with an uncontacted tribe. And apparently, with someone who briefly spoke the language, they were like, "Are you the people cutting the train forest down?" And they were like, "No," because they had 6-foot bows and 7-foot arrows. And they were like, "Right, sound those bananas, give them it." And then they give them the bananas, and then they just sort of disappear. And then it's really cool. So if you get a,
I'll put the link in the video.
yeah, I will do. And it's
sounds amazing.
yeah, and these people are 1,000 years behind civilization. It's interesting. And what I also heard is apparently we're not out the Stone Age yet. There's still so much we have to mine for rocks and things. Quite interesting as well.
Right. Well, on that note,
Yeah, on that
thank
note,
you very much, Mr. Rickenberg.
I've managed to put this in Spanish.
Go on, that'll be fine.